1, 0.
What's up, Minnesota Vikings fans? Welcome into another episode of House Calls. I am Skoldock, your host. This show is brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Dave. And coming back into the show is the Skol Geek. We had to have him back because he did such a damn good job the last time we had him on, and we love having him. So excited to have him again on the show. You guys are going to love it. And, yeah, we're going to break down the 53-man roster. We actually have a lot to talk about this week, which is a nice change of pace because it's been dead as of late with not much to talk about in the preseason when we haven't seen many starters play. But, gentlemen, first of all, how are you? Skol Geek, nice to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, nice to be back on. Thank you, guys. It's been a little while, but I'm excited to get back on. Really excited to talk about the 53. It's kind of been a little bit dull as of late, but exciting day for all us Vikings fans.
Now let's tell the truth here, Skol Geek. We brought you on here to talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged. That's the big news of the day. Heck
Oh
with this
my gosh.
53-man.
You know, I was driving around and my wife called me and she was like, "Hey, they got engaged." And I was like, "Who?" She's like, "Travis Kelce." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." I was like actually kind of pissed because as soon as they got together, he started being terrible at football. And he was on my fantasy team, so I was actually not super
Yeah, he was
happy.
dog shit in the Super Bowl. No, the funny story, just to off of that, my wife's birthday today, right? And our anniversary is tomorrow. But yesterday I said to my wife, "Oh, I gotta do the show tomorrow. It's a really important day for the Vikings, and you're gonna and it's her birthday." So yeah, she gave me crap about that.
Oh
A little
no.
bit. But hey, I was glad to have you back on, man. You were great
Yeah,
the first
thank you,
time.
guys.
I
Thanks
hope
for
we
having
have
me
you
back.
on many more times.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should just jump into it. Let's pull up that 53 and start going at it. Do we have it here, Dave? I think, yep, there it is. Perfect. And let's scroll all the way up to the top and start at the quarterback position. And I guess the main headline I think we should talk about first is that Max Brosmer made the team. And there was a lot of excitement from like Gopher fans about him signing as the undrafted free agent. One of the marquee guys, they did have to pay him pretty well. And as a guy who doesn't watch a ton of college football, I really just catch like the top games during the weekend. And I'm certainly not a Gopher fan. I didn't really know what to expect coming from this guy. You know, like the Minnesota Gophers isn't a team that you see a lot on college football game day if you're not a fan of college football. And to me, like in my head, I'm like, okay, that's a team that probably runs the ball a lot, plays defense. So I was just like, I wasn't expecting much from this guy. But my God, I mean, the beat just practice after practice said that he was looking good. He was looking better than Sam Howell. And then in the preseason games, one after another, he stacked good game after good game after good game. And I just love the way that the kid works. I loved how he mimicked JJ McCarthy's footwork at practice when he wasn't getting the reps. He's just locked in. So congratulations to Max Brosmer and Skol Geek. I'm going to turn it over to you. You watched this guy in practice in person. What was your takeaway from Max Brosmer and watching that kid in person?
I mean, the practices that I went to, I felt like he was really athletic. And like you said, I mean, coming out of college, I didn't really expect very much from him. Actually, coming into the Gophers, I really didn't expect much from him because Kelly Manis, the previous Gophers quarterback, he left, and then Brosmer came in from, I think it was like an FCS team or something like that, but not a huge college program. And I just didn't expect a whole lot from him, but he actually looked fairly good while he played with the Gophers, pretty accurate and pretty athletic. And in the practices, I mean, I was excited that he was on the team, but I wasn't expecting him to actually make the team. And the first time I went to practice, I went with my uncle, and we were expecting him to be like the fourth best quarterback because I remember Brett Rippon's uncle. Do you remember Brett Rippon's uncle, Dave? I don't know. It was way
Mark
back
Rippon.
in the day.
Yeah,
Mark Rippon.
Redskins.
Yeah, played for the Redskins and the Jaguars. And I was expecting him to have an arm and be pretty good, but he looked the worst. No. Yeah, he looked the worst. And then Sam Howell looked pretty bad. And Max Brosmer, he was really jumping out as the second best quarterback. I was like, is he really better? He looked like he had a stronger arm, a little bit of zip on the ball. He was more accurate during practices. And I was just like, man, this guy is actually looking really good. Yeah, I mean, I was shocked that he was good in practice, but I'm not shocked that he made the team after the practices that I watched.
Dave, what is your
one of the
take
things
on?
about him in New Hampshire was that he led FCS in passing yards and touchdowns. So it was
Oh, gotcha.
And he was like a 6-year senior because he had an injury and then COVID. So,
man, the Gophers really found a diamond in the rough there. And then the Vikings too just happened to be in the same state, and I don't think we would have found him. But man, if we tried to sneak him onto the practice squad, somebody would have plucked him up right away. There's no way that we could have put him on the practice squad.
100% agree with you. The quarterback position is just treated differently in the NFL. If you remotely show that you have any talent, a team is going to scoop you up so quickly. So I think they made the right move. He played too well in the preseason to, try to be cute with it and sneak him onto the practice squad. So I'm right there with you guys. And then let's go into the trade. Sam Howell, who you had mentioned looked bad all summer. The beat was telling us that it looked really bad all summer. Now, first and foremost, Kwesi got him essentially for free for trading down in the draft to pick up Sam Howell, and then flipped him at the end of the summer for a quarterback who now made the roster in Carson Wentz, who we expect to be the backup. And Carson Wentz, love him or hate him, I think he is exactly what you want in a backup quarterback, a guy who can come in for 4 games and try to go 2-2 with them, right? I think he's got a ton of experience, which is good because Brosmer has no experience. JJ McCarthy has no experience. So you wanted some guy with at least a little experience in that room. So I was completely on board with that selection in Carson Wentz as the backup here. I know that there's kind of a love-hate thing in Minnesota. Some people hate him because of the NDSU thing. Some people love him. So I didn't really have that connection to it, but I like the move. I think he's got to be better than what Sam Howell showed us. Dave, what is your thought on Carson Wentz?
I'm just happy for Too Evil to Hope because we finally got Carson Wentz on our team. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows Too Evil to Hope, but he's been wanting Carson Wentz on our team for 3 or 4 years. Think about Carson Wentz. Very intelligent dude. As far as social skills, I don't know if he's like the friendliest teammate. So I'm a little worried about that. But as far as a guy that's intelligent, this guy was super intelligent coming out of college. He's one of those guys that had a really high score on that whatever test it was, I forgot. But yeah, he's super intelligent. Now, when he played with the Redskins, he showed flashes. I say Commanders, he showed flashes. But obviously, we got a guy on our team now that has an MVP vote at quarterback. So that's one good thing. Is this guy was on his way to be the MVP of the league in 2017 before he got hurt. I think easily. And he's still got a.
What do you think, Skull Geek, about Carson Wentz? Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to be pretty decent coming out of college and when he got drafted by the Eagles. And, his first couple of years in the league, he showed that he was really athletic. He could lead a team to victories. What do you have, like 10 wins that Super Bowl season? Was it 2017 or 2018? I can't remember exactly which year. Yeah, 2017, because that was the year that we lost them in the NFC Championship game.
Bringing up bad news, man.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
What the hell? I'm kidding.
But yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. My dad went to NDSU. I'm not an NDSU fan, but I always thought that he was a decent quarterback that didn't really get a fair shot in the NFL with the injury that he got. I mean, he went to Indy and kind of got pushed out of pretty much everywhere he went. But I feel like he's good enough to be a backup, just like you were saying, Skoldoc. Good enough to get us, 500 wins.
What do you think of this? They listed him third.
Yeah,
just because of
yeah.
I mean, he's probably going to have to learn the offense at first.
Yeah, I figured it was just for the time being, or maybe he just doesn't beat out Brosmer. It's one of the things.
I mean, I like Brosmer as the QB2, honestly, and especially until Carson Wentz learns the offense. I mean, Brosmer looked pretty dang good in the preseason. In fact, there was a couple of touchdowns left on the table where, it just tipped off of somebody's fingertips. There was I can't remember which, it was maybe Urasek coming up the middle where he laid it right into his hands and it just went right through his hands. So
I mean, before his last interception, that was off the guy's hands.
Yep. So I mean, I like Brosmer. I think that he's earned his QB2 spot here until Carson Wentz shows us something different.
It's exciting that the Vikings, in my opinion, have found a young guy who you can mold as QB2 and keep him here for a long time. It really seems like Brosmer is going to be that guy, much like what Chicago just found with Tyson Bagent. I'm a big Tyson Bagent guy. I like that kid a lot. Absolutely. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. I watched Hard Knocks last year, and I just liked what that kid was about. When he comes in and plays, he looks really good. I actually joked with some of my Bear friends that in the mid-season this year, they're going to have some Tyson Bagent versus Caleb Williams fights on Twitter, which are going to be fun. Looking forward to those. Yeah. But I think that's going to be Max Brosmer for us. And to get that guy as an undrafted free agent is pretty good. And backup quarterbacks are hard to find in this league. It really is. And just talking about a guy to come in and hold the clipboard, prepare your starter, and come in as needed and go 500 during a stretch of games, it's tough to do. I know Dave is a big Nick Mullins guy, so maybe we found our younger Nick Mullins on a cheap contract.
With a better arm. He's got a better arm than Nick Mullins.
Yeah, he does.
Nick Mullins, I was afraid he might not be able to break glass.
And not as YOLO, he's just throwing up balls like
he's not,
Now Bob says Brosmer will be our starter in 5 years. I'm not going to go that far. I mean, JJ McCarthy still has the tools, ladies and gentlemen. JJ is the guy.
Yeah, the thing I like about it is that, I feel like I don't have to worry about the backup quarterback next year. It's like,
before we move on about Tyson Bagent, I think that he could start for a few teams in the NFL.
Yeah,
I think he's got what it takes. And
New Orleans,
I did hear that people were talking about him starting on different teams, like maybe the Saints or the Seahawks if they have trouble with Darnold. But what I heard from him is he's actually excited to be in a Ben Johnson offense, to learn the ins and outs, to learn from an offensive genius. So I think that he's making all the right choices, being, not just searching for that starting job and then just, kind of flaring out. I think he's doing a good job and making the right choice, like staying in that offense with Ben Johnson.
I'll say this, and I know any of my Bears friends watching the show are going to say I'm nuts, but Ben Johnson strikes me as the kind of guy where he doesn't give a shit where you were drafted. If the season isn't going his way, the quarterback isn't running his offense the way he wants, I could see him putting in Tyson Bagent at some point. That would be very interesting.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to running backs. The Vikings kept 4 backs. Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler makes the roster. That was surprising to me.
That's a shocker.
Yeah, Jordan Mason and Xavier Scott. Now, I had figured Xavier Scott was going to win that RB3 job over Ty Chandler. My guess is that the Vikings right now, where things stand, are really uneasy about kick returner and punt returner on this roster. And I'm really interested to see where the waivers go, because I think that they're going to bring in somebody to take those jobs, in my opinion. But right now, I think Ty Chandler made this initial roster because he can return kicks. That's my guess.
I think it's because CJ Ham's hurt. But on Tuesday, apparently he's coming back. So,
well, just to clarify that, Dave, what you saw was that he was placed on IR designated to return on Tuesday, aka today. But since he's starting the season on IR designated to return, he will miss the first 4 games. So, and that is something I did want to talk about. We'll talk about it right now, actually. That's a problem in my mind. And a couple people on my Twitter page today kind of laughed in my face a little bit and were like, the guy shouldn't even be on the roster. He plays 20% of the plays. I mean, first of all, this guy is a captain. He's a special teams ace. And the first 3 games we are without Jordan Addison, okay? The Vikings are going to have to rely a little bit on running the football for the first 3 weeks in the NFL season. Missing Ham is going to be a big blow to our running game for the first 3 games. And it does legitimately concern me now. It does for sure.
Yep.
That
and our offense isn't built around Ham, but our offense is definitely heavily involved with a fullback. So it's like taking an offense and just being like, oh yeah, 20% of the plays that you were going to call that have to do with a fullback, now you don't have a fullback on your roster. So that's a little concerning for me, is like not just the fact that we don't have a fullback, just the play calls are just quite a bit more limited than they used to be, because you're not able to call those plays anymore. And maybe they go with an HVAC setup where they have one of the Urasek or one of the tight ends play that position. I'm not exactly sure.
Now, Xavier Scott did show in the preseason that he can return kicks too. He had a couple nice returns.
Absolutely.
Back there. So Ty Chandler, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a guy that's waived after, like tomorrow, depending on how waivers go. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that happened last year as well, where we came out with the initial 53 and then we saw, other people that were available and we had to cut a couple of people. So that might be the case for Ty Chandler.
Dave, any thoughts on the running backs that we haven't touched on?
Yeah, I don't think any of these guys can play fullback size-wise. I mean, Xavier Scott can block pretty good, but he's only 219 and 6'1". I'm not as worried about not having a fullback. I remember, was it 2 years ago when we opened up against Tampa Bay, and all of a sudden we gave CJ Ham a lot of touches, and it was like our offense ran through him. Yeah, it's like, yeah, let's not do that. So I'm not too worried about that. We ran some I formation in that preseason game. With the first team, we ran an I formation play. I like that, be able to do that every once in a while. I like CJ Ham. He's a leader on the team. He's 31 now. It's just odd that we still, with the type of offense, because like he came from the Rams, right? Did the Rams have a fullback? I don't remember the Rams having a fullback.
I don't think CJ came from the Ham, buddy.
No, he's always been a Viking.
No, guys, O'Connell.
We got him out of,
O'Connell, yes.
O'Connell. So I don't remember them running a fullback in with the Rams. You know what I'm saying? So when I was actually surprised that we've kept him this long, for the fact that the offense that he came from. See what I'm saying? But I like the fact that we kept him, because I do like running a power every once in a while. I do love that, or counter. I love being able to be deceptive with our running backs, and I think you need 2 on the field to do that. So I do like it, but I'm not too worried about not having enough plays, or not having those arrows in our quiver right now. I'm not too worried about it, especially when you got Jordan Mason who doesn't need a fullback.
Bob says that 4 running backs was a surprise, and I agree. And I think that if CJ was healthy and made the team,
I think it's only because of CJ.
Exactly. You'll see one of these guys get cut when CJ comes back. So good points. I think CJ Ham, to your point, Dave, would not have made this roster if he wasn't so involved on special teams, because his running game influence is not game changing, but it does add a wrinkle that teams have to prepare for.
And he's not too bad on that play where they sneak him out and throw a little out route to him, or a screen play to him every once in a while.
Spider Y2 banana.
Yeah, Spider 2 Y banana.
Yeah, you got it.
That play. So I love that play with him. That's nice to have in the quiver.
Let's scroll down here and look at the receivers who made the roster. So the Vikings kept 5. Justin Jefferson, Naylor, who does not start on IR. Interesting. Hope we'll see about his week 1 availability. Ty Felton, Tim Jones, and Miles Price. To me, the surprise here was Miles Price. Tim Jones, we know, has special teams ability. That's why they signed him. And he's also good in the run blocking game. He's a good run blocker. So I kind of felt like his spot was safe. And we knew that Ty Felton, being a 3rd-round pick, was going to make the team. Miles Price, I wanted to make the team. I had a tweet out there that I think he deserved to make the team because of a couple punt returns he had. I actually saw a tweet that, according to PFF, he was, I think, the highest graded punt returner or second highest graded punt returner.
79.9, according to Jordan
He looked
Schultz.
pretty incredible on the field. And
but,
that's the position that we're always worried about.
Yes.
Since,
I'm willing to keep a guy if he can be a difference maker on special teams like that.
Absolutely.
As a returner.
Agree. But he has muffed a couple, which does scare me. And week 1 is in Soldier Field with that screwy wind. So that does scare me. So I am open to replacing him with a more experienced punt returner if the Vikings are inclined to do so. I think his spot of all the receiver names you see on that list there, I think Miles Price is the guy that might get replaced via waivers in the next couple of days. Something to look out for.
Yeah, I think.
Are you surprised Lucky Jackson wasn't one of these receivers?
I am surprised, actually. But, he was doing incredible at the beginning of camp in the first preseason game and a half. But then he got a case of the yips or the drops or something. He just started dropping everything. It was just sad because he really had a hold on that wide receiver 4 position.
I think that's a guy that they'll try to bring back on a practice squad, though, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about is Ty Felton on special teams. Have you guys seen those clips of Ty Felton as a gunner?
Yeah, I seen one where he, I don't know what the guy blocking was trying to do, but he just ran out and let him run down the field. But what impressed me is the breakdown and the tackle that he made.
Absolutely. So hopefully he can be a difference maker, as a gunner on punt cover.
Agree. But expect. Okay, so we should talk about this since we're talking about receivers. Adam Thielen. It really seemed like the Vikings and Adam Thielen were both pushing to get that trade consummated over the weekend. And you saw the agent going through Adam Schefter saying, Adam wants this done. The Vikings want this done. The
Adam's
Panthers
wife wanted it done.
Yeah. Adam's wife sent out an
Instagram. In the word of God for this. I mean,
she was praying.
Yeah, she said, we can only control what we can control. It's in God's hands, and we can't do anything. She's very clearly they all want to come back to Minnesota. And unfortunately, it sounds like the Panthers wanted a 3rd-round pick for a 35-year-old receiver.
And that's insane.
It's insane. They have a good young room there. I really think that they kind of mismanaged that. And then the Panthers end up cutting, what's that small shifty white guy? It was earlier in the chat. I think somebody brought him up. Hunter Renfrow. They cut him, which kind of solidified, in my opinion, Adam Thielen's spot there with Carolina. So I don't think it's happening.
Hunter Renfrow, I saw an interview once. One of his teammates referred to him as special.
Yeah.
Like he's a special player. And I think it's been knocked down because of being injured. And I forget the player, but
Chandler Jones, I think.
Yeah, he is quicker than fast, but he is quicker
a good route runner.
Shit.
Like apparently he's an elite route runner. So if he has injury problems, right? So the fact that he'll start the season healthy, if that's the case, come in for a workout.
Yeah,
bring him in for a workout.
Today I posted something about me being interested in Hunter Renfrow, and it was crazy. Some people were like, "Yes, let's bring in Hunter Renfrow," and then some people were like, "Oh, you're just going after names. When will you guys ever learn?" And I'm not going after a name. He actually did really well in the preseason and really well in camp, and they really loved him. But then I can't remember the guy, but I think he was from CSU or something like that. But he just beat him out. It's unfortunate, but he did a really good job in camp. He just didn't quite make it. That's all. But I'd love for him to come and try out. It would be interesting. It seems like we're trying to sign somebody. I don't know. Would you rather have Tim Jones over Hunter Renfrow? I don't know.
I think the Vikings really hold Tim Jones in a higher regard because of the special teams ability. That's something that us as fans just don't factor in as much as special teams, but I think that matters to the team.
One of my buddies really is a names guy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a guy named Tim Jones, or there was another guy back in the day, I think K-Fan used to call Tom Johnson. They used to call him Sebastian Thunderbucket because they wanted him to have a more interesting name. And sometimes I have a hard time too, where I'm like, Tim Jones doesn't quite sound like Xavier Scott or something like that, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Let's go down to tight ends. Not a surprise here in the tight end room. We had Kyle Rudolph. What am I doing? What year is this? TJ Hawkinson, Josh Oliver, and Ben Urasek. And speaking of Josh Oliver, it actually popped in my head. We were talking about CJ Ham for weeks 1 through 3. It'd be fun if the Vikings put, instead of CJ Ham, because he'll be out, they put either Josh Oliver as fullback for a couple of plays, or what about like LDR, like Levi Drake Rodriguez in the backfield, just let his ass blow through an A gap and destroy someone going 100 miles an hour.
The Bucs used to do with Vita Vea.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
That'd be fun.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but remember that pick six Kirk Cousins threw against Carolina?
Yes.
All the way back. The play before that, it was Josh Oliver in the backfield and we scored a touchdown with Justin Jefferson. It was Josh Oliver in the background that for some reason, even though the player was getting blocked by our guard, decided to just hold the other guy, hold his left arm. And then that's why there was a penalty called. And that's why then the next play we throw a pick six for the rest of the game.
I vaguely remember that.
I'm not sure how well Josh Oliver can play fullback, but H-backs, we had that before with that kid from USC that dad flipped out on the Vikings. I forget what his name was. He was like a late round pick 10 years ago or whatever.
Rhett Ellison,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, we have had H-backs before. So, I mean, it might be an idea. He can block as long as he doesn't hold like he did that one play.
The only thing that I want to bring up is that Ben Urasek legitimately graded out very well run blocking in the preseason. So that's kind of what you're looking for in a tight end 3. We'll see if
definitely see him doing like the CJ Ham duties while he's.
I wanted Nidbit just because I wanted the name
Nesbitt.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But, I guess if Urasek, tell me about Skull Geek. You know everything. That's why we brought you on. Tell me about Ben Urasek.
One of the only things that I know about Ben Urasek is his grandpa was like. Do you guys know about his grandpa? It's something about like.
Is he available?
Can you play fullback?
I think he like farms like pistachios or nuts or something like that, but I don't know much about him, honestly. I figured that Ben Urasek made the team because Bartholomew got hurt and he hurt his back. So,
yeah. And I don't think he's playing this year. I think he's legitimately out all year, which is fine. You know, heal up.
I think Ben Urasek could be the best third tight end in the league this year.
Wow. Speaking of that,
here I found it, guys.
Did Johnny Munt make the Jacksonville Jaguars roster?
I found it. Ben Urasek's grandpa invented the baby carrot. That's what it is.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Wow,
that's right.
Mike Urasek. Yeah,
that's the best thing since baby carrots.
Yeah, not pistachios, baby carrots.
I cannot find if Johnny Munt made the roster or not. But if he did get cut, that's an obvious pickup for the Vikings.
Yeah, true.
Offensive line. Holy shit. We kept 10. That's a lot of big men there.
Not before, though.
Wow. So Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Brian O'Neill. There's your starters. Blake Brandel. He can play guard or tackle. Joe Huber. Congratulations, young man. He had a hell of a preseason. I believe he had the best run blocking grade as a guard in the preseason. Michael Juergens, still don't like him much. I don't think he's that damn good, but he is the only backup center on the roster. Walter Rouse, I'm really high on him as a swing tackle. I think Rouse is going to be good. In fact, I think he could be a takeover for Brian O'Neill as soon as next year, potentially, depending on that cap situation. So keep your eyes on that. And then Justin School, which is fine. He's your backup swing tackle, left side, like survive. But hopefully Darrisaw's ready to go week 1. I think he will be. Skull Geek, what's your take on the offensive lineman? Anything surprise you? I don't think maybe Joe Huber surprised me, but nothing else really.
Yeah, Joe Huber actually didn't surprise me. He's been just blowing it up all preseason and all camp. Like everybody's been talking up Joe Huber. He's got, I think, the second best pass blocking grade and the third best run blocking grade. So, I mean, he's been looking pretty incredible. That's another guy that if we tried to sneak him onto the practice squad, somebody would have picked him up immediately, especially those teams like Houston and the Jaguars that don't have fantastic offensive linemen. So, yeah, I don't think that we could have gotten away with that. So that's probably why we kept a lot of these guys, because there's no way that we could have snuck them on the practice squad.
So, Dave, how do you actually feel about the Vikings offensive line from top to bottom? I think this is the most depth we've had in a long time.
You can call me Skull Dave now. I changed it just to
there you go.
There you go. Skull Dave. I just changed my name. Anyway, it's great. I like the fact that Joe Huber came out, played well. I agree with you with Walter Rouse. I was really high on him. Blake Brandel, flexibility there.
Swing tackle.
It is pretty deep, and we've kept 10 before. I have a little question about our defense where we've kept 10 or 5-5 and stuff like that, just because of certain depth issues we have at certain positions. But on the offensive line, I don't care if we keep 10. I like it. I think nowadays, because you can bring more on the active roster, these teams used to only bring like 8 players. Or 7, in fact, 7 linemen in an active roster. Nowadays, you can bring more. So I think it's good to have this many guys that we can rely on.
Yeah, I'm a whole lot happier with our backups this year than we were last year. So, I mean, when Christian Darrisaw went out, what's that?
Even previous years
absolutely.
too, including our starters.
Yep. Yeah, our backups just look so much better than they have. I mean, I don't even know how many years back we've been wanting a better left guard. We've been wanting a better center, and then this year we got both. It's just like, and then our backups are better than our starters last year, I believe. So, yeah, pretty excited. If Christian Darrisaw goes down this year again, it's not a Cam Robinson situation.
I got to knock on.
Yeah, exactly.
Particle board here.
I got no wood to knock. Here we go.
Superfan Daniel said that the Vikings did need depth in case Fry's Darrisaw Saturday go down. I laughed. I said, Saturday, what year is this? Talking about Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
But he says he calls him Saturday because Kelly reminds him of him. He kind of does, honestly.
Yeah.
Ryan Kelly's just he's a beast, dude.
He's a throwback.
Jeff Saturday.
He's a throwback, yeah.
Peyton Manning. That's
yes. And more famously, more recently, the coach of the biggest, the losing side of the biggest comeback in NFL history
is the coach.
33-0. Crazy. Let's move on to the next offensive, or actually the next position group. I think we're done with the offense now, so we're going on to defense here. Defensive line, they kept 6. Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, Jalen Redmond. Of course, Jalen Redmond had to make it. He had an awesome preseason, awesome camp. Ty Ingram Dawkins.
Last year, he was incredible last year,
Yeah. So. He was a guy that Baldy said look out for. He had a couple Baldy breakdowns last year. Yeah. Levi Drake Rodriguez and Elijah Williams. Elijah Williams, I saw Matthew Collar post this. That's your Mr. Mankato this year. Elijah Williams.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Rookie tryout camp. Absolutely killed it. He killed a guy in the Titans game on a kickoff coverage.
Oh my gosh, just full blast. That was crazy. He didn't slow down at all. He didn't even have to make a cut. Nothing, just full speed right into that guy. Oh,
number 99, just boom. Just that guy was done. That was fun to watch. I mean, I love the defensive. I mean, who would have thought this was us right?
Yep.
Our defensive tackle room has been shit for a long time now, since the Williams wall, since
Crazy.
Sharif Floyd underwent some procedure and got medical malpracticed essentially, and
Yep.
can't play football anymore. The situation just absolutely sucks.
Yep.
And now to have, I like every name on this list, honestly.
Absolutely.
It's great. We don't have the James Lynch guy on this line right now. You know what I mean? We don't have any Jags, in my opinion. These guys can play. Every single one of them, I feel good about them playing on Sunday. So that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
Dave, what do you think?
Last couple of years, we've had, Wanham, we had Pat Jones. Both of those guys were just kind of okay-ish. But yeah, you're right. Every single guy on this list, if they can all stay healthy, we're going to be incredible. Even if Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave don't stay healthy, I mean, I'm really excited about Jalen Redmond and Elijah Williams. I looked up a couple of stats about Elijah Williams. He was number 7 in the FCS last year with 54 tackles, 11 sacks, and 15 TFLs. I mean, the guy is just a wrecking ball. And, that was an HSBCU or whatever. But yeah, he's incredible. He's playing against top tier talent. Even if he's playing against the ones, he's blowing people up. So, and Baldy did do a Baldy breakdown on Elijah Williams this year too. So Baldy likes a few of our guys.
This just reinforces my theory that Brian Flores doesn't care for big run stuffing defensive linemen. None of these are, right. All these guys can get after the quarterback. I think maybe less so Elijah Williams, but his technique and it lists him at 270. He doesn't look 270 to me, but he looks bigger than that, 6'3", 270. But
he looks unblockable to me when
he does. They can't move him. It looks like he's just got great technique, in my opinion, and leverage.
In that Patriots game, I went to the Patriots game, and I was just basically just watching him every single time he came in. I was like, oh, he's back. And pretty much every time he came in, he made a difference. I'm just really excited for him to actually play in a real game versus the ones.
I think as long as you have discipline when you're playing defense and able to shake off blockers and make the play on the run game, you're good in this Brian Flores defense.
That's a great point. Is that I watched an interview with Brian Flores. I think it was right before he came here. It was either when he was on the New England staff or the Miami staff, but he said his number one requisite for any defensive player is being able to get off the block. It doesn't matter if you're big or small or tall or little, you have to be able to get off the block. And I think that's really why he loves Ivan Pace, is because he can get off the block so easily.
Yeah, someone says he weighs 290 now, Timothy Slack, but they had him listed on the draft profile as 270. But again, he went to freaking Morgan State, so I don't know how accurate that was. And he probably went to a regional combine or whatever. But the elephant in the room, right, is Harrison Phillips got traded for not much, but I wasn't as sad as a lot of people, even though I am a big fan of him as a person and a really serviceable defensive lineman that occasionally makes us a play, right? Especially against the Buffalo that year.
The Bills,
but I know you guys like Pat, or you like Mackey. He says, I remember him always saying, "Don't let the enemy of good be
good,
great, whatever. Enemy of great be good, or whatever like that." I think he's just good, and I think he saw younger talent that's going to be cheaper, and I might as well get a draft pick because these guys are just as good as him. And that's what I felt.
The enemy of great, maybe.
Don't let good be the enemy of great, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, I like, which guy are you cutting for?
Right,
Harrison Phillips off this list. It's Elijah Williams, but is that fair?
No.
Like I think they did the right thing. They did the right thing.
It saves you money and gives you draft capital.
And remember the one practice he got moved to the second team?
Yep.
So I think that's where they were looking at him, is that he wasn't going to be a starter. and then they thought, hey, he's a veteran. Let's get him in a place which unfortunately is the Jets, right? Okay, you're going to play for the Jets now. I don't know how excited is about that, but he's back in New York State, anyways.
So, couple things. There was sticker shock with Harrison Phillips because of he was the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for the Vikings, right? He's a captain. It's about what he means to the team from a holistic standpoint, not necessarily his play on the field. And then the other thing was Harrison Phillips was a part of that interior last year that had the worst pass rush win rate for the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. They've essentially kept nobody outside of Jalen Redmond on this team this year who was a part of that group last year who could not win win a pass rush.
And Jalen Redmond could win pass rush.
He could, right? Yeah. He was part of the guys that actually could.
Instantly, as soon as he came in the game, he was exciting to watch.
So when you talk about turning a weakness into a strength, which was that's something that Kwesi said they wanted to do, by the way, when they lost that game in the playoffs to the Rams and they talked in the offseason, he said, we want to take some weaknesses on this roster and turn them into strengths. He did that with the interior offensive line. He did that with the interior defensive line. So, I mean, just seeing this list from where we were last year, kudos to Kwesi. Love it.
Absolutely.
This is
it's a tale of two stories with Kwesi. Like, the guy really seems like he has trouble drafting. But, man, he is an all-star when it comes to UDFAs and free agent signings. I mean, there's literally no one better in the NFL than him when it comes to UDFAs and free agents.
I still throw out the drafting part. He's had guys with, injuries that may have sidelined their career.
That's true.
And one died. But, there's been some unfortunate things. But overall, yeah. I mean, even if those guys remained alive or stayed healthy, still would have been pretty average at best.
I do think there's some positive regression coming for the Vikings in drafting, like you guys have said. I've talked about this on Twitter. I do think that drafting is random for the most part in terms of all these GMs, all these teams put in all this energy, all this money into studying the draft. And the Ravens GM said it best with the only study that really shows consistency is if you have more picks, more shots at the dartboard, you're going to hit more, right? Which is why the Ravens trade back a ton.
That's why we get 11 picks next year.
So far, we'll see if we flip something. Let's go down to outside linebackers, Dave.
I wanted to talk about one other thing. So did you guys watch Levi Drake Rodriguez in the Titans game?
I saw him
incredible motor.
Yeah,
exactly. But there were a few other plays where he was he just had a crazy motor. He just kind of reminded me of like John Randall or something, just like going after it. It just seemed, maybe it was because
I think he overmatched the guy too. Probably has
absolutely.
Something to do with it.
Anyway, let's move on. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Outside linebackers, Jonathan Grenard, who I think is going to be a top 5 edge this year. That guy is possessed. I think he's going to go off. Andrew Van Ginkel, Chaz Chambliss, that's a surprise. Bo Richter and Dallas Turner. The biggest surprise here was our guy, Gabe Murphy, got cut, and everybody lost their shit on Twitter. And it was surprising. It really was. When I look at the names that they kept over him, Bo Richter and Chaz, these guys had really good preseasons in regards to special teams. And I don't think Gabe Murphy brought the same juice to special teams that he did to edge rushing, but he looked good against backups in terms of edge rushing. But I guess they were looking for some bodies that could offer a little bit more in the special teams.
Yeah. I've done a little research on Chaz Chambliss, and a lot of people he went to Georgia, and a lot of these Dog fans, they've been saying that he's been underestimated his entire career. Everybody's always said, "Oh, Chaz Chambliss, this guy should be starting over him, or this guy should have made the roster over him." But I think he was overlooked in the draft too. He had 30 bench reps. He was, if you compare his pro day to other people's pro day, he had the third best 3-cone. He had the fourth best short shuttle at 4.37. So the guy has really quick feet. He has a good lateral movement. So, I mean, all of these things bode well for special teams. He's able to make a lot of tackles, and in a pinch, he's going to be able to do well in outside linebacker and inside linebacker. So he'll and D end if you have to. So I don't mind the
Did he
pick.
get did he get a payout like one of the bigger contracts, like 250 or something like that, or no?
Yeah, he was one of the guys that got some of the bigger money in the UDFA pool.
Yeah, it might have something to do with it too.
Yep. But pretty excited about our outside linebacker room, honestly. I'm really excited about Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel from last year. I mean, those two guys are in the top 100 players in the entire league. Honestly, I feel like both of them were underrated in that top 100. Yeah, they're insane players. And then Chaz Chambliss, Bo Richter, and Dallas Turner. I mean, some people were saying that Gabe Murphy wasn't as good as Dallas Turner, but if you're Kwesi, you already gave up all that draft capital. You're not going to give up on Dallas Turner just to keep Gabe Murphy. So
I have a hot take for week 1. I think Jonathan Grenard is going to win us that game almost single-handedly. I think the mismatch between him and whoever they put out there at left tackle is going to be enormous. That guy's going to have like 4 sacks that game.
So who is their left tackle?
I'm guessing Braxton Jones at this time. They were flirting with 2 other guys, I think both rookies, and apparently they don't love any option right now. Their fans today on Twitter were excited for possibly going after the guy who we started left tackle last year, Cam Robinson.
Oh no.
Yeah. They're like, go get him. Go pick him up.
Oh
I like how the Vikings misspelled Blake Cashman.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Blake Cashman.
Hey, Blake Cashman.
Damn guy was like undefeated last year when he played, and they misspell his name.
So here's what I'm thinking. Tell me what you guys think. Is like we kept 5 inside linebackers when we could have kept a Gabe Murphy, just and still worked on a trade or whatever.
Yeah, but these linebackers are special teamers again, right?
Yeah.
Derek Wilson.
Well, Eric Wilson's going to play a lot, I think, this year. He's going to play in your pass situations. I think they're going to take Ivan Pace off the field in obvious pass situations. When you want nickel out there, it's going to be Blake Cashman and Eric Wilson. When it's obvious rundowns, first and second down, or you're blitzing, Ivan Pace will be out there. Austin Keys, Kobe King, those are your backup / special teamers.
Special teams, yep.
Any word on Austin Keys there, Skull Geek?
Yeah, I know a little bit about him. He went to Ole Miss. He played a lot of games at Ole Miss, 43 games played. He had 120 tackles, 8.5 TFLs. So he's got a lot of experience, and I think that bode well for him in the preseason. So he's pretty athletic. I think he ran a 4.45 or something like that. So
damn,
pretty fast inside linebacker.
This is why we bring you on the show, man. You have this kind of info on the 53rd man on the roster. That's impressive. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. What's next, Dave? Skull Dave, excuse me.
Yeah. Skull Dave, please. For today.
Corners. I mean, something's going on here. We're adding a name here.
One of these guys is going to be one of those linebackers is out of here after we sign a cornerback.
What are we gonna do, man?
I don't know.
I'm looking for people that are cut out there. I mean, I threw out the name Kobe King from the Falcons. There's another guy, Alford, from the Falcons. But I mean,
did Kobe King get?
Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant.
I'm sorry,
Kobe Bryant. Yeah, Kobe Bryant.
My bad.
He got cut.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant got cut. So
because they were expected him to get drafted like mid-round, right?
Yep.
And then he made it all the way to UDFA, right?
Yeah, I think he's got some character flaws.
Yeah, so a lot of people were saying that, they're probably going to be looking for more of a, experienced cornerback. I mean, I feel like we have some fair experience with Byron Murphy, Isaiah Rodgers, and Jeff Okudah, but, maybe they want somebody Like, does you think Stephon Gilmore is just like completely done, or
I mean, I think he can come in and do what he did last year and just play strictly zone. I don't think he has it in him to play man anymore. From all accounts, from the beat, when they played the Packers and they surprised him with a ton of man coverage, he was like done in the locker room after the game. He was just like, if I were to go run a marathon right now and come in, he just looked dead. So, I think he can do certain things. I just don't think that you can ask him to do other things. So it'll be limited.
Yeah. And, honestly, I feel like I wish that we would have paid Shaq Griffin just to stick around for one more year. I don't know why we just got rid of him with how thin we were in the cornerback room.
So Shaq Griffin is actually like that's Jeff Okudah this year, because they use Shaq on the short side of the field all the time, and they didn't play him a ton of snaps either. That's exactly what they're going to do with Jeff Okudah this year. So that's kind of your reincarnate for Shaq Griffin. I don't know if you need another one. Maybe you do for depth. It's a good point. They're absolutely going to add to this room. It'll be interesting to see who they go get for sure. Maybe they trade for somebody. I don't know.
So there was what's his name? I'm trying to find him. Vaughn. He got
Zamiah Vaughn.
Right. So
yeah, dude, that play against the Titans when he let Van Jefferson score on a zero blitz, that was ugly.
Yep.
That was bad.
Gotten him cut right there.
I was listening on the radio, so
he was really raw. I mean,
so Dave, I'll set the scene for you. It's like 3rd and long. Brian Flores draws up a zero blitz, like a double A gap, zero blitz. And the outside receiver who Vaughn is covering, he's playing off coverage. He runs a hitch route. Okay. And at the top of the stem, Vaughn trips and falls onto the ground, and the wide receiver catches the ball. Vaughn tries his best to get up and jump towards the player and make the tackle, and he just completely misses. Like, he looks like a 10-year-old boy trying to play or something. Like, he just didn't have his feet under him. And then the wide receiver runs for a 60-yard touchdown because it was a zero blitz. It was extremely ugly. It was one of those plays where you watch in the preseason and you're like, oh, that guy's cut.
Yep.
You just call it right away. You're working at Foot Locker.
He was raw. Like, even in the practices that I went to, I mean, he definitely flashed because he's got that length, but at the same time, he got cooked a few times too. So you're like, it's going to be ugly.
Considering how few guys we cut that are cornerbacks, there's only like 2. One was contract terminated, Ambry Thomas. He's the only one that was just waived. That's a cornerback. So
now, Norpheus brings up a good point. He says, come on, it's not like no cornerbacks get burnt. Like, let's be fair. And that's true. I still think that this kid's going to make it to the practice squad. I think they really like this kid. In fact, I saw a couple tweets that says that he's going to have a lot of suitors. So we might not get him back on the practice squad because there'll be some teams that like Zamiah Vaughn. But I'm just saying, Norpheus, that play was really ugly.
Yep. Yeah, I think it was Alec Lewis that said that they're going to try to get him on the practice squad. So hopefully he makes it, because I think he's raw, but I mean, he has the physical skills to be able to be good in this, just as long as, Brian Flores is able to clean up some of that rawness from him.
Here's another name that kind of surprised me. So we got the mainstays, Josh Metellus, Harrison Smith, Theo Jackson. I'm not surprised by Jay Ward. I think he had a good preseason. I think he's developing nicely. But this Tavier Thomas, I don't know much about him. Do you know, what can you tell us about that guy?
I know a little bit about him. He's really fast. He ran a 4.38, so super fast guy, super athletic. I think he's bounced around the league. I think he played for Cleveland and the Jaguars and a few other teams. So he's been all over the place. So just kind of a journeyman. The games that I watched him play and the actual practices, he's got brick hands. So, I mean, he does a pretty decent job in coverage, but he's not going to be picking off very many passes. He dropped a few easy picks in the preseason. So I think he's just depth, and then also special teams. So He's probably a pretty smart special teams player if he's latched on to 3 or 4 teams in his career already.
Good point. It was close. There was another safety. I forget his name, but he had a couple picks in the preseason. There was talk that he might make the team. It looks like he just got edged out. Maybe a practice. Yeah, that guy. Maybe he'll be a practice squad guy as well.
Yeah, it looks like Tavier Thomas played for the Cardinals, the Browns, the Texans, the Bucks, and now us. So he's been in the league for a long time.
I think you're absolutely right. Special team guy, dependable special team player. So we'll see. I like some of the special teams, like players that we kept in the ancillary positions, more like defensively. It's just the returners themselves that kind of scare me. Mostly punt returner.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust Miles Price going into Soldier Field week 1. That does scare me.
My uncle is a big Miles Price fan. He thinks that he's going to be a really good punt returner. So I mean the punt returns that I saw, I didn't see any muffs. Did he have a couple of muffs that you saw?
Yeah, I was listening to Alec
Bobbles, or he dropped it.
Are you asking me, Dave?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I know that he muffed one, dropped it, and I think Alec Lewis talked about another in practice where he bobbled the catch.
Okay.
I know this from Judd's point of view, from Alec Lewis's point of view, they are concerned about punt return position going into week 1. Now, I do want to bring up a name. This guy was cut from the Packers, Mecole Hardman. That guy can return punts. He's fast as hell. I kind of like that name.
With Kansas City, right?
Yes. I kind of like that name.
Another Georgia Bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he's been around. I mean, I feel like he would be pretty good. I feel like pretty much everybody's going to have a little bit of problems with, a little bobble here and a little bobble there, so even
there a bobble.
Even Powell, back in the day, he was pretty.
Yeah, he dropped a few, picked it right back up.
Yep.
I don't know who this Trey Palmer guy is. I see him all over Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you guys know much about him? Is he an established player? Like a lot of people talk about him, like he's got good punt return ability, like Daniel brought up here. I know he was cut from the Buccaneers and he's going into waivers. I'm sure he'll be picked up by somebody. But any thoughts on Trey Palmer?
Looks like this is his first year with the Buccaneers. I don't really personally know much about him, but he came from LSU. So looks like he's a 6 foot, 192 pound wide receiver. Must be a pretty fast guy, but I personally don't know much about him. But yeah, I've seen a bunch of tweets about Trey Palmer and how he got cut and that the Vikings should at least take a look at him for punt returns.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset with that.
Third year.
Going into week 1 right now, my biggest concern with the 53 is punt returner. I'm putting that on the podcast. It does concern me. Specialist, Will Reichard, Ryan Wright, Andrew DePaula. Ryan White wins the punt job pretty much based on the last preseason game. Chapman dropped the ball when he was holding for Will Reichard, and you got to be able to hold the damn ball. I don't know why they don't have the backup quarterback working on that too. Why did that? Am I wrong? Like, does the backup quarterback not do it for other teams? Is it just a Vikings thing?
I mean, it used to be like your job as the backup quarterback. He used to be the holder.
Like in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, is it serious question, Skull Dave? Has it not been a thing for a while that the backup quarterback? It's
been a thing for a while because the punter and the kicker are always together. The last real guy that I think is notable that held was who's the Cowboys' old quarterback?
Wade
gotcha.
Wilson?
What?
Wade Wilson.
Tony Romo when he dropped.
Remember when he dropped that?
Yeah.
That extra point.
Yeah, that was
in the playoff game.
Was that a Thanksgiving game or a playoff game?
I think it was a playoff game. It was like first round of the playoffs or something like that. But yeah, he was the backup quarterback and he was the holder. And when he took over the starting job, they kept him as the holder. He's really the last guy I can think of that was like the quarterback that held.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that the kicker and the punter are always off by themselves. That means you got to send the kicker. That means send your backup quarterback, which is usually you just had two. Before you had 2 active quarterbacks, right? You don't have a third emergency guy. So your backup quarterbacks, the whole practice over there with the kickers. Yeah, just
that makes sense. And also, kickers used to be like 80% was a good season back in the day.
and Ray can throw
Yeah.
the ball, so
Yeah. All right, I think that's
I just found something about Trey Palmer. He ran a 4.33, so speedster, very fast.
and he's been in like 3 years.
Nice.
So
Well, I think we broke down everything. We talked about the Carson Wentz trade, the Harrison Phillips trade. The only thing I think we didn't touch on was the Mekhi Blackman trade. He was traded for a 6th-round pick to the Colts. It's really unfortunate. He was looking really good as a rookie, getting good snaps. He was one of the best tacklers in the NFL as a rookie, aggressive type of player. He did get mossed a couple times. He wasn't the tallest guy, and T. Higgins mossed him a couple times. But, I mean, still, he had a very good rookie season. Then he tears his ACL on the first day of training camp last year, misses all of last year. And coming into this year, a lot of the beat reporters thought he was going to step in and be like cornerback 3. And it did not go that route. He was with the third team a lot. And listening to Matthew Collar on his show last night, he just said that it never seemed like he got that aggressiveness back after the injury. And that was his calling card as a player. If he doesn't play aggressive, he's not a good corner. So the Vikings really didn't, I guess, believe in his game anymore. And they shipped him out for a 6th-round pick. And if there's one thing about this regimen that I respect, it's that they will cut their losses sooner than later. You know what I mean? They won't just admit that or just sit on their laurels and keep a guy employed because they picked him. They will move on. So that's my thoughts on it.
Pick.
3rd-round pick. Yeah. What do you think about it?
I mean, I echo exactly what you're saying. I feel like it's smart to do that before, you waste all of this time and then exactly what, like, I feel like they know exactly what they have with Mekhi Blackman, and they feel like they have better with the guys that are currently on the roster. So why not cut your losses and get something out of him, because you know that he's not going to pan out, especially with the guys that you have. So, and this defense is pretty incredible. So, I mean, you got to be really, really good in order to stay with this defense. And I feel like Brian Flores knows exactly what he wants. He's one of those guys that knows exactly, like, within a couple of weeks of playing on his defense, he knows whether or not he wants you to stay on this defense. So I feel like,
remember when you asked the question a few weeks ago, who you think might be a surprise cut?
Did you say that? You said
Do you know who I said?
Mekhi Blackman.
Mekhi Blackman.
Yeah. Hey, good call. Good call, man.
only because I thought, coming back off the injury and all these other cornerbacks are playing so well, that he could be a surprise. Not that I was 100% sure he would get cut, but that was like if I'm going to pick a surprise cut, going into preseason, you think he was pretty much a lock for the team. I was like, okay, Mekhi Blackman, because injury and then he goes on to play bad. A little bit. So,
and they played him a lot in the preseason.
Oh yeah, most snaps of the team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was not a good sign.
Yep.
I'm shocked they got a draft pick back for him. Maybe he had a pedigree, so 3rd-round pick. Maybe that's why.
I'm shocked that we got anything for Sam Howell. He was just good.
So awful.
How in the heck?
The first game, we were all like, "Oh yeah, good. We have a backup quarterback." Second game, oh my god, he's so terrible.
It was Howie Roseman we fleeced, nonetheless.
How is that possible? They must know something that we don't know. I mean, the only thing that I could think of is like later on, a couple of days later, somebody said that the 5th was a conditional 5th. So if they decide,
that was a conditional 5th, and I think that's probably him staying on the team, maybe.
Yeah,
it can't be playing time.
Judd made a joke on their show that he was like, "Shit, if the Eagles called me, I would have told them, what the hell are you doing?" He just considered it such a win that we were able to fleece the Eagles, and I agree, man. I mean, what a good move to move on from Sam Howell.
Yeah,
I just feel so good about the fact that our GM or coach decided to keep a Brosmer. And it's one of those things is like in years past, it always seemed like there's this one guy that we should really keep, and then we
Yep.
fucking cut him anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Brosmer was a guy, and Elijah Williams, but they kept these two guys.
Yes.
And they were standouts in preseason, and we kept them. And the only guy that we really probably was Gabriel Murphy. But
do you guys think that that's kind of like Kwesi's investment background? Like he's more likely to cut his losses when he, just because he's, he sees when something is. What's that?
He's not married to anybody,
right? Yeah, I feel like that investment background is a plus when it comes to that. But there's other people like the scouting guys where they're like, oh, yeah, I know this guy's going to pay off eventually. We just got to keep him for one more year. And then
I don't like this guy because he's got an ugly girlfriend, no confidence.
Yeah.
It's tough on the scouts because they travel and spend long hours on the road and they get so invested in these players just like from the amount of time they put into them that it's tough on them to, put their convictions on the table come draft time. And then you don't even pick that player first and foremost. And then when they finally do pick your player that you spent all this time on, you're like, oh, hell yeah, that's my dude. You know what I mean?
Table.
Yes.
That's the guy.
So then when they don't work out, but to be honest, those guys probably they have a voice in the room, but they don't have the voice in the room. Like
imagine Scott Studwell pounding the table. Fuck, okay, whatever, Scott.
Yeah,
whatever you want, man.
Or was that Lions GM? Was it Milan?
Brad Holmes?
No, before Holmes. Was he? I don't know. Never mind. I thought it was Millard. Maybe I'm wrong.
So to wrap up the show, what I want to do, and we're going to pick the schedule before week 1, but just through preseason, now we have the 53-man roster. I want a number. How many wins for the Minnesota Vikings for this year?
I've got it.
You got it in your head. Dave, you got a number?
Sure.
All right, let's start with you, Skull Geek. What's your number?
All right, at the beginning of the season, I was saying 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going up to 13.
Wow.
Going 13. I love this defense. I really think this defense is going to carry us. I know that J.J. McCarthy's young, but I really think that this defense is going to be able to make up for some of the J.J. McCarthy youth.
Mm-hmm. Dave, what you got?
I was super optimistic, and remember we went through the schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
The schedule looks harder this year than last year too.
Yeah.
So I could see us. I think our floor is 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think our ceiling's 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be optimistic and say 12.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we are feeling the Minnesota Vikings this year.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm hearing. And you've seen this defense in person annihilate our offense, annihilate the Patriots offense. So I believe in your assessment for the Vikings. And you've seen J.J. McCarthy improve and get better and better and tear up. Were you at the Patriots joint practice that day? So you saw him tear them up that day. So I'm feeling really good. Pending health, everything goes right health-wise. I agree with your guys' assessment. 10 seems like a floor. 14 seems like a ceiling to me. Like it could be that damn good. 11 seems like a good number based on how hard the schedule can be. I'm going to say 11. So we got 11 with me, 13 with Skull Geek, and 12 with Skull Dave.
Did you see that the Lions were like the most bet on team from last year's playoffs to miss the playoffs?
I love it. I think it makes a lot of sense.
That's exactly what I've been saying.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you want to pick a team where you get good odds, right? They're favored to make the playoffs, so you want to pick them. But it makes sense. Both new coordinators, their interior offensive line is vastly different. It could be a big change for them. So, and it's a hard division.
Absolutely.
So we'll see.
Pretty much any game in this division, you could take a loss. So, I mean, the Lions, they could take 2 losses to the Vikings, 2 losses to the the Packers. I mean,
Outdated.
probably won't lose to the Bears, but
Outdated says it's coming down to week 18 with the Lions versus the Bears.
Yeah.
To win the division. And I'm
Yep.
like, oh, I guess, yeah, try to beat them so, we can win the division.
Yeah. He also said the Vikings, he couldn't see them winning more than 5 games this year.
who was this?
And remember his big thing, his big hot take was that they would have more wins than the Vikings. I posted, why does Outdated only think they're gonna? I thought he had more confidence than me. He's only gonna win. They're only gonna win 6 games. The Bears.
Yeah,
because he picked us to go 5, but said that we're gonna have more wins. That was his big take, was we were gonna have more wins than the Vikings. What, 6? You think you're gonna get 6?
He is absolutely trolling us. I mean, it's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
He lives the troll.
I tell the guy, he always asks me to come on a show, but the day of, and I'm like, dude, I told you, you got to ask me the day ahead of time. I'm not going to come on the same day, okay? Because I have plans. I'm working. I will work around it and come if you just give me a day ahead of time. But every time, Dave, you available? I'm like,
and then he dogs you for saying no.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't say anything.
He
dogged me for saying no.
Has kind of a fun format. It's basically a no homer format because everybody's trashing each other. You've got the Lions.
The Lions guy is named Seventh Letter. I forget what the letter, the number for L was, and I said I'm gonna change the 7th letter to with the 12th letter because they're gonna get an L this week.
Yeah.
And we lost.
Yep. But it's kind of a cool format where everybody's just trashing each other, so it's pretty fun. But yeah, humor and Outdated. He's a pretty funny guy.
He's a good dude. So, thank you, Skull Geek, once again for joining us, being an amazing guest, bringing the heat, bringing the knowledge. Fantastic job. We will definitely have you on in the future going forward.
Thank you.
And Skull Dave, it's good to see you looking healthy, my friend.
I've had a good couple of days, but I was sick last week, and all the tests are coming back negative, but I still don't know what the fuck I have. I still don't know what's wrong with me.
Oh, man.
I've lost 40 pounds.
Everyone in the comments, thank you so much
pounds?
for 40 pounds.
Over like 8 months.
Oh, my gosh, dude. You
Lost
had
40
something.
pounds.
Maybe you got a worm or something.
I hope so. Keep working, man. Keep working.
But thank you so much, everybody in the comments. Great show, great questions, great comments, and we will see you next Tuesday for hopefully some news at that time. Maybe a little. We'll do our Week 1 Bears preview next Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. And Skull, everybody.
Skull.